All right, I thought I'd take some time and talk about this Twitter and Elon Musk thing because this is an issue of sense making. How do we make sense of Twitter and Elon Musk? How can we understand this better or differently? So I'm going to give you some perspectives and some food for thought. I'm not going to tell you, all that's going on or anything because I don't know. But I know some of the things that are going on. And so I wanted to point out some of the absurdities. When we're thinking about Elon Musk, and I did a video on money, and I talked about Elon Musk in that video. So it's a good one. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And the reason why it's important is important to know why he's got so much money and how he got it so quickly, because these are mysterious things. And then it's important to understand that people don't do things for single reasons ever. It's just not a thing. They may give you only one reason, and they may only have one conscious reason that they're aware of even. Yeah, fair enough. But people can't possibly doing things for one reason, and it doesn't actually make any sense. Do I think that he's going to make $44 billion back for himself and his investors? Actually, I don't. I don't think that's possible. However, if anyone can, he can. So it's one of those things. I don't know. No one thought that he could make profitable electric cars, certainly not from scratch without using any existing technology. But he did. And I mean, we can quibble about the quality of those cars and stuff like that, but that's pointless. Nobody thought he'd be able to, supplant NASA and launch rockets, and in fact, land rockets so that they don't just fall into the ocean and have to be expensively retrieved, but they can sort of come back home. Nobody thought that was possible. He did it. So, what's possible? I don't know, but I know someone with a record for working it out and making impossible things happen, and that's Elon Musk. The thing about Twitter is interesting, right? Because the amount of armchair quarterbacking, the amount of people saying, oh, well, I'm going to do an analysis on Elon Musk and figure out why he's doing this. Okay. So you think you're smarter than Elon Musk? Is that what you think? Really? I'm intrigued. And sure, maybe you are. Fair enough. Are you a better businessman than Elon Musk? Because I got my doubts. Really got my doubts there. I'm again, I'm not going to pretend I understand all the business reasons why he bought Twitter. Certainly a few come to mind for consideration. And I think, look, this is the great hubris of our age. We get smart about one thing, and then people go, ooh, you're smart. Okay, maybe. About what? Because people usually aren't smart about a lot of things. Most people are smart about maybe one thing, maybe two or three. But most people, they're not smart beyond the one or two or three things, and then everything else they know nothing about. And there's a few rare exceptions to that, but they're rare, and there's a few of them. And Elon Musk is probably one of them, just because he seems to be able to understand a hell of a lot about rocketry, a hell of a lot about tunnel boring, a hell of a lot about business, a hell of a lot about banking, a hell of a lot about the online space, and how to make money. There's a lot there. His marketing skills are next level. The only person that has comparable marketing skills to Elon Musk is Donald Trump, quite honestly. And if you don't see that, you should look harder. You should consider carefully. They have a lot of the same tactics. And you may say, well, Mark, prove it. Okay, well, look, a lot of people have been laughing about Elon Musk doing a poll on Twitter to see if Donald Trump should be back on, right? And you may say, that's invalid. He said he's going to be for free speech. What's he doing? Oh, that's a good question. Why would you do that? Let's suppose your intention was always to just let everybody on who is speaking legally, and with a few caveats around keeping the platform tight, right? In other words, you can't just follow the laws of the U.S. government. They're sort of generic and designed not to impinge on business. Businesses themselves usually have more stringent laws and or rules and regulations, however you want to frame them, for being part of the business. And fair enough, I think that's a good thing. And Twitter does the same thing. They need that. Fair enough, I think they need that. So let's suppose your intent always was, we're just going to use our terms of service. We're going to stick to them tightly, and we're going to just let everybody back on. And of course, in order to know who to let on and who not to, we have to check if they were kicked off for legitimate reasons around terms of service or not. And that information has to be gotten at. So you can't just start letting everybody on all at once, right? These things take time. So there's a time component automatically. That's good to know. In the meantime, what are you to do? Well, you just bought Twitter, and you need to know how many real people are on Twitter. You need to know how the people on Twitter feel on average. Like, what do I have here? Who are these people? What do they like? Every platform is a filter. What did this filter let in? Right? It's a good question. And how do you find that out? How do you find the bots? How do you make sense of what you have? And you've got some time, because again, these things take time. There's all kinds of reviews you have to do on these accounts anyway. And there's probably a wisdom to doing them in a certain order. Well, you might think that, if I run a poll, and let's suppose I'm going to let Trump on anyway, with or without evidence, because that probably, right, probably valid. Or maybe I have all the evidence, and I know he should be let on according to my new rules. I'm not going to put him on right away. Why? Because he's extremely popular, and he's a draw to the platform. I might troll everybody by using a poll. Why? Well, there's lots of reasons you might want to use a poll. A, there's a troll value. Sorry, I love trolling. Trolling's great. That alone, for the lulz, absolutely. That's one reason. Another reason might be you're getting a pulse for the people that are on the platform today, right? So all the people that didn't rage quit or like, oh no, fascism, run away. All those people are already gone, at least the extreme ones. But let's see who's left. What is the ethos of Twitter? How do you find that? Oh, polling's not a bad way to do it, right? Especially on a divisive issue. And with a popular person. Now you can argue, well, half the people hate him or whatever. I doubt it's anything like that. Of course, they'd like you to think so. But it doesn't really matter, because you don't know on Twitter how many people are for and how many people are against, and you don't know what that means. And some of the people may be against the person, Trump, but for the principle of free speech. And so this poll tells you more about that. And running other polls alongside it tells you that too. Also, by running a poll, believe it or not, you can find bots. Yep, it's not perfect, but it is a help. And so, okay, there's 3 reasons. What else do you do by running a poll? Well, you create a bunch of controversy. The poll itself is controversial. The fact that you've said, no, this is a free speech platform, we're just going to be letting a whole bunch of people back on, and then you don't do that, that creates a whole bunch of controversy. And what happens with controversy? It gets in the news. And what happens when you get in the news? You're getting free advertising. Donald Trump uses this all the time. And here's Elon Musk using the same loophole, right? Like, these people are dumb, and they want to report on things. They need my content. They need that. Ooh, Elon Musk, fascist, says he's for free speech, but now we know he's not, or whatever nonsense they're putting forth nonsense. They're crazy people. It's fine. But now they're giving away free advertising, right? This became a big issue in the election, right? Where we gave Donald Trump, $72 trillion or whatever in free advertising, and we didn't mean to do that, and we apologize. Whatever. Like, you people are dumb. It's just stupid. So Elon Musk has all this going for him. Free advertising, right? He's getting people interested in the platform through the free advertising, through the controversy, right? By creating 2 controversies at once. All of this helps his business. It all services the business. And it doesn't just service like people now today. It also services who's there now, finding bots and getting rid of them, or finding the illegitimate bots and getting rid of them, finding people who are manipulating the system. And maybe he'll catch 1 or 2. He probably wouldn't catch a high number, but he'd probably catch 1 or 2, because these things can be done in certain circumstances if the people doing the the bot manipulation makes certain mistakes, and most of them do, by the way, because most people are dumb, and they make mistakes. People make mistakes all the time. And so there's a lot of advantages to this. You can see who's been swaying the platform, right? You can find out some of the bad actors. You can find out how many bad actors there are, right? Or at least get a better idea. So all of these things are playing in his favor. And that makes the business better going on, because now he kind of knows, well, who's my audience? Who am I catering to? Also, because announcing the poll on Twitter and just having a Twitter poll is getting announced on the news and written up in newspapers and articles and all over the web and talked about on YouTube and debated all over the place. Now he has a pulse on the general zeitgeist outside of Twitter, and he can somewhat measure some of the differences. It's not perfect, but it's way better than no information, right? So if you just do what you say and you just let everybody on in the middle of the night and nobody notices, you lose all that. That's huge in business. It's huge in the technology. It's huge in understanding the world. And so, and look, I'm not pretending like I know all of the good things that can come from a poll and all the reasons he did it. I don't know the reasons he bought Twitter. They could be purely ideological. People use their money that way all the time, especially when you have that much money. Even people are like, $44 billion. Well, it's not, he didn't put in 44, he put in 4, which is kind of a small percentage of his wealth. And, a lot of people don't really understand percentages. So, they see big number and they go, ooh, big number, big. But if you have $200 billion, $4 billion is really not that much. It's like, whatever. 4 billion here, 4 billion there. Okay, whatever. It's cool. People don't understand that. So it's not that much money for him, I think, from what I've read, from what I understand. And this is a good way to get the money back by getting Twitter involved. And, you can sort of pressure advertisers in the short term to kind of leave the platform, whatever, and they'll do it and then come back, which they did, because it benefits them. Like, you may think that you as, culture warrior or whatever, have control because you can boycott and make them angry. But the people that run companies are smarter than you. That's why they're running a company and you're a loser. Okay? It's that simple. So if you're running a company, maybe not, but you're probably not spending your time being a culture warrior or something, right? You're probably too busy running your freaking business, or your life, right? Or whatever, right? And you're not armchair quarterbacking, one of the wealthiest people on the planet right now. Like, probably too busy for that garbage. So Elon's got a handle on all this stuff, and he's using everybody for this. And people are sitting back, and then the advertisers are like, oh yeah, absolutely, we're going to pull out our ads right away. And then a month later, when things blow over, because again, they're smarter than you are, they buy ads back again because they don't want to lose those eyeballs. And if they stir up controversy in the middle, they give you the impression that they were righteous. And then they go back to doing what they were doing. Wealthy people do this all the time because they're not idiots. In fact, in the United States, if you're an idiot, you're probably not also going to become wealthy. Good to know. And that's part of the problem. We're getting very, very confused about this, ultimately. And, you don't want to be confused by these simple tricks. So, if people think they're gaining ground or like Twitter's going to fall tomorrow or whatever, I think you're nuts. I wouldn't bet against Elon Musk on anything. I just wouldn't. It's too unknown to me how good he is. And he has a lot of momentum behind him, not just because of the money, but because of the successes. And even though I very much disagree with, some of his crazy claims with electric cars and self-driving and the tunnel project with the tunnel boring machines, I think those are silly and unrealistic. And going to Mars is certainly insane. Not that we shouldn't do it, but like his claims are just out there. He's very much selling things that he knows he can't deliver. And fair enough. Like, he's a good showman and he's a good salesman and he knows what he's doing, and like, more power to him. So I'm not even mad about it. I'm just saying, and I still wouldn't bet against him on any of those things. except maybe self-driving cars, because I know that's not going to happen. That there is an area of expertise I actually have, so I can say, nah, he's fooling himself if he thinks that's going to happen. And maybe he is, because dreamers fool themselves first, and everybody else second, and that's how you fool people. Convince yourself first. So all this dust up around what's Musk doing and why he's doing it. I know why he's doing it. I know what's going to happen. You're full of it. You have no idea. You're probably not smart enough to see any of this picture, much less some of this picture. There's a lot going on. There have been historically many people that buy businesses that they know are not going to be profitable. This is not an unusual thing. Most businesses fail. Like 95% of businesses or something fail within the first 5 years. Unprofitability getting into business is the norm, not the exception. And if you've got the money to spare, why not? Especially if you think it's important, right? Or it's a loss leader, right? Well, I'll buy Twitter, a losing business. That'll get me free press for all my other businesses and projects. And then I'll get investment in them, even for the people who think Twitter is not good. And on net, I'll get more money. Maybe that could happen too. There's lots of possibilities. So how do we make sense of this? Well, look, Musk probably bought Twitter because he thought it was important to make a change in the world, because people are calling on billionaires left, right, and center to make a change in the world. And of course, those same people, when those billionaires actually do something, they get all upset, because then they feel manipulated. So, but there's no pleasing those people, obviously. You give them exactly what they ask for and they bitch. So, what are you going to do? Peopling. Also, I think that he has business reasons for doing this, even if the business reasons aren't, I'm going to make money on Twitter, because maybe he doesn't think he is and doesn't care. Because he thinks he'll make up for that loss elsewhere. And maybe he will. I have no idea. Maybe he just wants to be a culture warrior, and he has the money to do it, and he had the business acumen to do it. And he knows people are very short-sighted. That's why the whole lead up was, oh, Elon doesn't know what he's doing, and he's going to get sued, and then he's going to be forced to pay zillions of dollars, and then the whole world's going to end. People were just going nuts. And I was just sitting there like, no, this is a strategy. He knows what he's doing. He's trolling for a better price. I was right. Not to brag. I don't think it's braggable. Lots of people knew. Lots of people were like, yeah, he just wait and get a better price. And this is how you do negotiations. If you want to drag it into the public, like if you have those skills, Elon Musk has those skills, all right? He's shown it many, many times throughout the years. So no one should be surprised that that was the strategy he went for. There are other strategies that he could have gone for, but that was a good one. He's firing all the engineers. Yeah, most software engineers are terrible. I'm sorry, they just are. Like half the software engineers have 5 or fewer years of experience in the industry. Bob Martin has a talk on that. Uncle Bob Martin, interesting guy, actually. Don't agree with most of what he says, but man, there's some nuggets in. There's some wisdom in people trying to prove their bad points while they're being wrong, and he's got a lot of it. A company like that just does messaging does not need a zillion engineers. Almost every software company I've ever gone to work for has had twice as many engineers as they actually needed. The problem is most people don't know who the good engineers and the bad engineers are. And, if you need to know, you can hire me. I'll tell you. I'm very good at spotting talent, especially at software engineering, which is something I know a lot about. But most people can't do that. And even the people that are very, very good at it, some people just hire people to hire people. Honestly, that happens in business all the time. Businesses are very, very altruistic. They really like to hire people. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in business, because running a business is a pain in the keister. Let me tell you, I've done it. It sucks. I've watched. I've been in C-suite meetings. Like some of these people, Jordan Peterson talks about this. Who the hell wants to run a Fortune 500 company? I have no idea. Your kids are going to hate you. Your wife is cheating on you and going to divorce you someday. It's no good. It is a rough life, because you're working 60, 80, 100 hours a week to run some of these things. And not all businesses, right? But a lot of businesses, the people at the top are working a lot harder than you think. And not all of them. Like some people skate by and whatever, but not most of them. And businesses often just hire people to hire people. Like I had a mechanic who hired his stepson, who knew far less about cars than I thought was possible. At some points, I wondered if he even knew how to drive one. He put a distributor cap backwards on once, and I was like, it's notched. It has a notch so that you know which way it goes on, and it doesn't fit any other way. And he still managed to not be able to put the thing on correctly. Anyway, this is not a mistake I would make because I know cars fairly well. I know how to work on them. Certainly distributor caps, really not that hard. People do that all the time, more often than you think, even in large businesses. Large businesses, they hire interns that they don't need. They hire entire departments that are completely unnecessary just to hire people. They really do. I mean, and sometimes it's the management down below, and sometimes it's the CEO is just like, we got lots of money, let's spend it on people. I want to reinvigorate the community. That actually happens. It's not just governments that do that stuff. In fact, it's not primarily governments that do that. And when governments do it, it typically fails. So it's good to know that people like Elon Musk are out there and are being altruistic in some of their decisions, not all, but some. He's not just some greedy capitalist who wants to get as much money as possible because everybody's right. After a certain point, it's not about the money. Right, that's true. So why are they acquiring more money? Well, they're giving more value to the world. It's not that hard. Money is related to value in the future. See my video on money. Actually, I have 2 videos on money. So yeah, I mean, this is one way to start making sense of Elon Musk. Another way is to not listen to people who criticize Elon Musk who aren't at least as successful or experts in a particular thing. So like if some legitimate rocket guy said, oh, Elon Musk's rockets are terrible, I might have listened to him, right? If somebody who actually knows AI starts saying, oh, well, I don't know about this self-driving thing, I think it's a failure, maybe you want to listen to them and not Elon Musk. And that's only a small part of his Tesla plan. But with business, there are 0 business people I'm going to believe who are naysayers of Elon Musk. 0. And that's not even because I particularly believe that his businesses are going to be long-lasting and successful in the end. But so far, so good. And even if they're not successful, or all of them aren't successful, one successful one can bail all the others out. This is basically the strategy of venture capitalists, right? They'll bet on 10 businesses, 9 of them fail and lose money, and the 10th one makes 1,000x the initial investment or 10,000x the initial investment, whatever it is. And so it's worth it to invest in 9 failing businesses to find the one that will hit when you don't know. I don't know if they still use that strategy. They certainly used to. And 1 in 10 was only the best VCs. The others didn't have a record that good. So, like I said, 95% of all businesses fail within the first 5 years, at least in the US. I don't know what it is post-COVID here, but I suspect it might be somewhere the same, roughly speaking. So yeah, it's good to think about these things in a larger context so that we can make sense of the fact that good things are afoot. I mean, there was one Thursday where Elon Musk single-handedly injected joy into the platform. And the platform got fun, and satire was back, and people weren't afraid to be edgy anymore, and they were edgy. And that day, that one day on Twitter, was a Thursday, I don't know, it was 3 weeks ago or something, I think. That was one of the most joyous days. I did not think I could get that much joy out of my phone. I did not think that. I didn't suspect it. I didn't see it coming. And, look, I'm grateful for Elon Musk for bringing that day to me because it was that good a day just on the basis of the Twitter posts, and the Babylon Bee was back, and everything was beautiful and glorious, and people were being edgy and funny and happy and positive, and there was no political dumpster fire. There almost never is in my feed anyway, but the amount of positivity that was injected into the platform is amazing. And we should be happy about that, even if we disagree with Elon Musk or whatever. If someone's injecting joy into the world and happiness and positivity and hope for the future and all those things, and someone's bringing back satire, or someone's allowing people to joke when they weren't, when they didn't feel comfortable doing so, we should celebrate that. irrespective of our feelings about Elon Musk or his fascist takeover of Twitter or whatever, however you want to, because you don't know what fascism is, however you want to frame it. We should take that seriously. And that's what we should focus on, right? Focus on the good. It's not hard. Focus on the good. The world will make more sense when you focus on why is this person doing this? I don't know. Maybe there's some good in it. Maybe. Just maybe. And, there's lots of things to focus on, but I think focusing on the good is a better way to sense make in the world and a better frame. And you should look for the good too. Like you should look for opportunities to celebrate people being good and opportunities for you to participate in the good, right? And I think, quite honestly, that you've done that by watching my video because you've given me something that I think is very good and focused towards the good, which is your time and attention.